Oba Rashid Adiwo Ladoja is the next, being the Otun Olubadan. And Ibadan has two lines to the throne, two ways to get to the throne. The civil line and the warlord line, the Balogun line. The Balogun line is the military line. The civil line is the civil line, that is, you can become Olubadan through Balogun line or through the civil line.
Can you expatiate to us and to Nigerians the civil way and the military way? When you talk about civil line, is it that you have to be Mogaji, that you follow the 23 steps and all? And then when you say the military way, is it like when once you are a Balogun, automatically you are next to the throne? So please tell us about kindly dissect these two lines.
Yes, let me tell you.
Okay.
The step is, like I said, the first thing is to become Magaji. After that, when the space is opened, that is when someone dies among the chiefs, then the next line, if you can cross from Magaji to Jagun, it could be Jagun Olubadan or Jagun or Balogun line. If it's the civil line, you become Jagun of Olubadan, or if it's the military line, it depends on the line that is open. So once you cross that Rubicon to the next stage, which is Jagun, then there's no more problem. It goes step by step. Once the elderly people or any one of the chiefs die, there is a movement. There is a movement from the one you have to the next line. So that is how it goes. That is how we know who should be the next king. That's why I describe the Ibadan as the best succession to the throne, the best in the world, because it can never bring controversy. The person knows. The next person knows. The next person knows. That's how it goes in Ibadan. So from that Jagun, there's another 22 lines before you can become Olubadan.
Okay.
So it is only, that's why you see every Olubadan, you cannot find a young man of 60 or 50, because you have to pass through stages of life. By the time you become Olubadan, you are wise. The wisdom is there. You've crossed so many barriers. You have ruled over many people before you can become Olubadan.
But they said Oba Yesufu Kobiowu ascended the throne at the age of 55.
He was the youngest Olubadan. So far in history, I think he became Magaji at a very younger age. And that is what people are doing nowadays. Even at my age that I'm Magaji, if my children were born in, if they were in Nigeria, I would have chosen my son, to be Magaji, because it has more, it's more possible for him as a younger person to become Olubadan at a younger age. Than people of us who are almost 60 years. Because before you can become Olubadan, you at least, you will pass through minimum of 30 years.
To become Olubadan.
To become Olubadan.
So that's 30 years.
Because people are now living long. People are living long these days, which is good.
In Ibadan,
and then
or in general?
In front of you, in Ibadan.
Okay.
Well, I would say in Ibadan. Most of our chiefs, they live long in Ibadan.
Okay. All right.
Even the next king now, Rashid Ladoja, is almost 81 years old. He celebrated his 80 last year. So he's not a young man. But thank God he enjoys good health, which is paramount. That's very important. He enjoys good health. He's still cerebral. Everything is intact. He's active. Because I know him very well. Okay. He's very active. So, but at least look at it. You know, the Oba Lekabalogun, the one that died before Oba Ige. That died yesterday.
Yes.
It's 90 years old. It's like more.
Nigerians are questioning and are asking, why do you have to get hold before attaining the position? This man, the youngest Oba in history in Ibadan, Kobiowu, he reigned for just 6 months. 6 months. He died 6 months later.
Or you want me to tell you what happened to him?
Well, you're an historian, so definitely you take us back history. Also, the man...
You know,
I'm coming, Chief, I'm coming. Also, Oba Samuel Odugade, Odulano, the 40th Olubadan.
Yes.
He became a king at 92. He reigned for just
And they keep
9
up to 8
years. He reigned for 9 years and died at 101. So it seems to be like the norms is, well, you can't stay for years on that throne. Just in the space
because at the time they ascended the throne, they are old already. So
55 years wasn't that old?
Sorry?
55 years wasn't that old? The man who died at...
Oba, the one you mentioned, could be who have lived long. But for what happened? It was during the crisis of the Wild West when he was on the throne.
Okay.
Oba Kobiu. They now went to see Oni of Ife. They wanted to cause Chief Obafemi Awolowo. So there is what we call Forest of Oduduwa at Ile-Ife. The key, the only one that holds the key to that place is Oni of Ife. So the Oni of Ife, Obaderemi then, who was also an action group, they forced him to give them the key to access that forest. That is where they believe they can impose costs on Chief Obafemi Awolowo. So when they forced him, he handed over the key to them. But when they got there, according to history, they met some spirit who has them some certain things that they could not provide. They did not carry that thing along. And that was the remedy for the spirit to speak to them. So eventually, when they left the palace, he was on his way to Ibadan when the tree fell on his car and he died. So that was the story behind him. He would have lived long if he has not dared the gods. But he dared the gods and he paid the supreme sacrifice. He was the youngest Olubana. Since then, we have not seen any young man ascended the throne from that time.
Talking about Ladoja, I mean, I don't know if you remember the issue he had with Obasanjo.
Of course.
Yeah. Do you want to take us down the line? Because Nigerians now are beginning to question that, well, this man was a former governor. And this man, now, there were clashes with the then president. So why will this come to his home, his house? And then yesterday, we also understand that while some were mourning, some were rejoicing, singing, dancing at the home of Ladoja. Can you please break it down?
One of our panegyrics is Ibadan Magoti. While they were mourning in the palace of the former king, the new king family, they will be rejoicing because it's their turn. That's why even one of our proverbs said they always laugh into the palace, but they will cry out back. That is the way it is. When the new king won the throne, people will be laughing and rejoicing. But the same thing, it will still go the same way, no matter how long you live. You will still go to the same way of all the people. And then people will mourn. While they were mourning in the house of the family of Oba Ikeola Kuleyin, for the demise of their people, of their person, other people, the next to the throne will be rejoicing. So it's not a crime.
So they can't pay. Wrong. So respect cannot be paid to the late king.
They of course they will. The late king paid respect to Oba Mahood Lalekan Balogun. He went to the family and paid his last respect. Of course, Ladoja will also go to this man's house and pay his last respect. But that does not remove the fact that the family are rejoicing that their home is becoming king. That is the way. Even this Oba, when he mounted the throne, when Oba Lalekan Balogun, they were rejoicing. They were dancing. They were beating drums. It is tradition. No one should take it as an offense. It is our tradition. It's part of panegyrics of Magboti Kuyo. They hear about death of someone and they are rejoicing. So it is normal, it's natural. Every one of them will pass through that stage in life. So he will still go. Ladoja will go there and that. Now you ask me a question about the issue with Obasanjo. That was in politics. And they have resolved the issue. When they were both in PDP, they had issue, no doubt. Obasanjo planted his remover and they removed him. But he won in the court and he returned to the governorship. So that's normal. And they settled the leave after.
We'll still have a historian and also a legal practitioner, says the Chief Niya Borishade is also the Mogaji of Olubadan. Right, yeah. I think I got that right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Each compound has their own Mogaji.
Okay, now Ladoja becoming Olubadan, and how Ajimobi tried to sabotage his chances of becoming the king. Can you take us back history of Ladoja and Ajimobi, the late governor of Oyo State?
When Ajimobi tried to modernize the Olubadan system by appointing some high chiefs as king and to promote some Baale and to become a king of their domains, Ladoja resisted him with the Obasaliu as well, Ungusochu, that this should not be. We have a very good and enviable structure on ground. Why introducing this kind of modernity into it? The excuse that Ajimobi gave that time was that in other places where they are bigger, they are not big even as Ibadan.
Oh, let me hold you a little. Okay, please go ahead. Go ahead. We lost the call there. Please go ahead.
Where they are less bigger than Ibadan. They have many kings, but that they can follow Olubadan to an occasion. That so they should bring modernity, but Ladoja resisted him completely. They fought. They went to court. They did everything to make sure that we maintain the structure. At that time, it was only Ladoja. It was Ladoja and late Oba Lekan Balogun that are in it together. But later, late Oba Lekan Balogun withdrew and joined forces with Ajimobi and the other high chiefs who wanted to become king.
Okay.
The explanation of Ladoja is this: you cannot, if you are a king, and now you are not yet Olubadan, are you going to wear two crowns at the same time? But when Governor Seyi Makinde came back, the high chief went to him that they want their crown to be returned to them because before Oba Olakuleyin or before Lekan Balogun became the king, they have to withdraw all the cases in court so as to pave way for him with the promise that he will return the crown of the high chiefs. So when Oba Lekan Balogun became Olubadan, through Seyi Makinde, they returned the crown to them. They amended the 1957 Act that governs Oba Olubadan structure and the high chiefs. They amended it. They must appoint him king before you can mount the throne.
Oh.
I think the 11 high chiefs,
really?
They have to appoint him. And then they will now present their recommendation to the governor, who will give his assent.
And these high chiefs are not, they can't also be king?
That's what the new edict said. After they amended the 1957 Act. So they are kings on their own domain. Then Chief Oba Ladoja now questioned them, which king are you? But they said, this is meant to be, I'm trying to remember what they call it. Like a waiting king to Olubadan, Oba Oko. The king that is waiting, because all of them are entitled. If the Otun is incapacitated to become king, Osi will become king. If Osi is incapacitated, the Asikpa will become king. If Asikpa is incapacitated, so all the Obas, the high chief, about 5 of them that became king, are now entitled. They are Oba Oko, that is the waiting king. That is the title they are wearing, but they are also referred to as Oba. So Ladoja was persuaded to wear the crown. And when he noticed the conspiracy against him, and he knew by virtue of our convention in Ibadan, he's entitled to the throne. But where there is conspiracy, he may not be able to mount the throne. So he knew the high chiefs, the 4 or 5 who are now king, wanted to be wearing the crown. They accepted it and they were crowning it. It was the only one. So they said, if you are not an Oba, then you cannot sit among us. And they would not have elected him to become king. So in his wisdom, he accepted. And he started wearing crown as well. People refer to him as Oba. But now, maybe things will change in the future. And they will restore. It may be that we have to restore to the old ways of there is only one Oba. Many Baale also were promoted to become king in their domain. Like Elegbeda of Egbeda, the Eleromo of Eromo. So many people, the Alakinele of Akinyele, these were Baale originally. Okay. And the problem, which I have spoken about in 2022, I wrote an article which was published in Tribune in 2022
Okay.
about this superb succession that they are creating a problem. The Magajis, they are the one to recommend who become Bale. The Bales are under the Magajis. A Magaji may have 7 or 6 Bale under him. Now, I now question the wisdom. If you appoint a Bale to become king, then what is the position of the Magaji? Who recommended him? By virtue of becoming king, that means everybody should prostrate to him in the place, in the place where he reigns. With the Magaji, who is his senior, prostrate for him, because the Magaji is a representative of Olubadan.
After the Mogaji, so after the Mogaji, we still have like 22 positions to get to the throne.
I don't get that question. The Magaji is the bedrock. When you become a Magaji, now when there is space, you now bid to become Jagun. Also become Jagun, you don't need to bid again. It's step by step.
Okay.
But as Magaji, we have about 400 or 300 Magajis in Ibadan. So, and everybody wants to become Jagun. So you have to bid for it. Then the king determine, the Olubadan determine whom he will pick as Jagun Olubadan. Once you become Jagun, whether in civil line, the Otun line, or the military line, which is Balogun line, then you move up the ladder. That's how it is. But the Magaji are superior to the Bales. In fact, they are the one that repeat the Bale in their domain and recommend it to Olubadan. So when they now promoted some Bale to become king, I told the people, I said, there is an issue here. This is not well thought of. If it's well thought of, you have to clarify the position of the Magaji. Who is superior to the Bale? Now you have promoted some Bale to become king in their domain. So how will it work?
Yeah, we have. Yes, a very big question right here. Don't forget, yes, you can send us a WhatsApp message and be part of this conversation. 0705 6900 927. 0705 6900 927. Or also call us on that same line. Or call us on 0802 502 7711. 0802 502 7711. Or you can call 0802 978 8003. 0802 978 8003. Yesterday, Chief, drummers and trumpeters stormed the residence of Oba Ladoja's residence. They stormed Oba Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja. Adewolu. Okay, Adewolu.
That's the crown entered the city. That's the meaning of Adewolu.
Okay.
The crown entered the town or the city.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Yes, the drummers and trumpeters, stormed the residence of Ladoja, playing ceremonial sounds in anticipation of the transition. Now, this is where Nigerians are worried. Why not let's bury the dead before we begin to celebrate? And even they've even questioned the royal drummers going there to do this act. That is it not wrong, or is it not like a sabotage to the people of Ibadan?
It is not. It is not. It is our custom. It is our tradition.
Even when the dead is not buried?
Nobody should take an offense.
Even
it's
when
part of our tradition.
Even when the dead is not buried?
Sorry.
Even when the dead is not buried?
It doesn't matter. The moment he gave up the ghost, that's it. The allegiance of the drummer moved to the next one. Or the trumpeters. It moved to the next one. The allegiance is not to an individual. Of the drummers in the palace, it's not to an individual. Whichever that individual is. The allegiance is to the throne of Olubadan itself. So, the moment the person that occupied the throne...
And the man in question is not even in the country, according to what we heard. According to information, he said the man in question is not even in the country.
Well, I'm not in position to answer that question, to deal with that one. But the question is, whether it was that... You remember when Oba Ige, Olakuleyin, was not also around when Oba Lekembalung gave up the ghost? He was not around. But people went there to dance. They danced there. They danced in Oba Lekembalung as well when Oba Ogunoso gave up the ghost. So it was tradition. No one should take an offense. No one. Everybody knows. The new king knows. The late one knew that this is what will happen at the end of the day. And so, if it's part of tradition, if it's part of a convention, if it's part of a culture, so let it be. As long as there is no allegation that the incoming king was the one that terminated the life of the old one. No, we don't do that in Ibadan. But the moment you give up the ghost, when the new person in their family, they start rejoicing, the loyalty, the allegiance of the drummer in the palace, he move to the next person. That is it. It's not to an individual, it's to the throne of Olubadan itself, their allegiance. You get the point.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
Anybody may send it anywhere. It's our culture. Don't forget that Ibadan is a military quarters of the all Yoruba land in those days. So military people don't cry. They don't cry when their member die. They don't cry. So it is this military position that metamorphosed into becoming Olubadan, since there is no war more in these modern days. So now the culture is still there. No one should cry because the new king is there. Ibadan has never been without king. Because the next person knew he's ready, he's waiting already to accept the mantle of becoming Olubadan. Whether the man in question is around or not, he's the next king. And they knew his place, so they have to go and dance and rejoice with him. And since Olubadan don't die young,
okay,
the one that died is 190 years old or 90 years old as he came to be.
Even Ladoja is about 81 years or so.
Yes, so 90 years old is not a child to be one of. What we need to do is to celebrate his life. He has lived well. He was a major in the army. He has been a teacher. He was an engineer. He has done well. He became Olubadan, the highest throne in Ibadan land. So, what next? He has transited. He has joined his ancestor. May his soul rest in perfect peace.
Amen.
We celebrate his life. But the next person is there. We have to rejoice with him or become a king. He has been waiting for long. He has been expecting it, and it came to his turn. You know, some people, when it should have been their turn, then they die. But on this occasion, Ladoja is alive. Ladoja is alive.
Oh.
Are you hearing me, sir?
Yeah, I'm with you. Let's talk about the gains. Now, what are the expose Nigerians? Or, tell us about the gains of being an Olubadan. The gains of the throne.
I don't understand. The gains as in how?
The gains. Gains, not game. Gains.
The G-A-I, you mean G-A-I-N?
Yes.
The gains of becoming Olubadan is to seek the welfare of the people. It's not about finance. It's not about money. It's a representative, the king of his people. He settled dispute. He discussed. He ensured peace in Ibadan land. He is the custodian of the tradition of Ibadan. He controls many things. The land is under the Olubadan, even though there is a decree or that regulates it. But still, the culture demands where there are disputes on land or anything, they go to their king, and the king will settle it. Where there is a chieftaincy dispute, they go to their kings, and the Olubadan will settle it. So there is a lot to be done by the Olubadan of Ibadan. And that's why people are happy that we have a new king who is exposed. He has been a governor before. He knew the heart. And we hope that this will transform Ibadan to higher level. It will catapult Ibadan people to higher ground. This is someone that has been there. He has been at the top. So for him to become Olubadan, the first executive governor that will become Olubadan, isn't that a blessing to Ibadan people? And that's why people are rejoicing that we have someone like, and people of Ibadan, they love Ladoja. They love him. He has done well for them. He catered for them as a governor as well. So we expect a lot from him. And there will be synergy between him and the governor as well. Being someone that has been in that position before, he's able to advise the governor on many things, which he has been doing even before he ascended the throne. And now that he's ascending the throne, the cooperation and the synergy will be much more greater, and for the benefit of the Ibadan people and Oyo State in general.
All right.
In Oyo State is the largest, is second largest city in Nigeria. Ibadan. Ibadan.
Yes.
It's the second largest city in Nigeria.
Of course.
So it's the capital of the old Western region. If there will be any problem in Yoruba land, if it did not start from Ibadan, then there's not going to be problem. But when there's a problem in Ibadan, then the whole Yoruba have problems. All Yoruba towns or cities, they have problems. So the peace of Ibadan is germane to Yoruba land in general. That's why people are showing interest on who becomes Olubadan of Ibadan. And thank God we have a very good one in the person of Oba Rashid Ladoja.
Okay, and now let's talk about this. Nigerians have asked questions. Olubadan, right, seat or throne is not about Ifa. That it's for the most senior among the chiefs, just like you've also explained, and also that it's not for sale in regards to some controversies that went down towards around the Alafin of Oyo. So how do we the throne of Olubadan and then that of Alafin? Can you please clarify? Is there any maybe order, highest order in both? Which one reports to which? Because both are in the same state.
Okay. Each city and town in Yoruba land are governed by their own tradition and culture. The tradition of Ibadan is different. I think I would suggest, or I would say, is the most civilized tradition in the world in terms of the kingship, the authority, the way we ascend the throne. It doesn't bring controversy. There was controversy on the other thing when the high chiefs in Oyo State, the Oyo Mesi, they were allowed to be taking bribe.
Yes.
From other princes. They took money. And the delay was delayed for more than 2 years before they can. That's why governors has to intervene. And that's not even part of the tradition. Governor should not have intervened. But at the same time, governor had intelligence report that the high chiefs in Oyo State, the Oyo Mesi, they are selling this thing to the highest bidder, and that should not be. That's why he chose the Awusi of Agbayi himself, Abimbola, to consult the oracle and give him reports. And so it was the oracle that chose the President Alafin, and that's why he became the king. So, but that can never happen in Ibadan. It can only tell me. The oracle itself will not lie to anybody. But the consultant of the oracle, those who are behind it, they are the one that can manipulate the prophecy of Ifa oracle itself. The divination, we always tell the truth. But what are the people that consulted the oracle who understand the voice of the gods, the voice of the oracles? If we sit down now, you and I, if we sit down with an herbalist, we won't understand what the oracle is saying. Prepare for it. That's why I describe Ibadan as the most superb success. It's the fact of corruption. Once to become jargon, before you become jargon, it is possible that some people may take money before they appoint the jargon. That is possible. I cannot dispute that. But once you become the jargon of Olubadan, there is no more manipulation. No more. So, to the 23 steps that you have to take, nobody can manipulate it. Nobody can use their money. No matter who you are, you cannot jump over the senior. You can't. You can't jump over your senior. You have to wait your turn. So, the arrangement is super. The arrangement is super. It's devoid of controversy. No influence whatsoever. No amount of money. You cannot change what is there. The structure is there. And we have to maintain that structure. It's an example for other people in the future. If it continues that to become a king, you have to bribe, you have to manipulate, and those who are not supposed to be there are becoming there, then they have to find some method to copy what we are doing in Ibadan. Which is, now, we said, when the king died, they moved to Ladoja house. They know, everybody knows that this is the next in line. The person next to Ladoja.
So as it is now, Ladoja already has a successor.
Of course, there's somebody. There's the next person. They have to move to the Ladoja was of the civil line. They have to move to the Balogun line now. So we are, I think, Ajibola.
So how is that done? Is it two civil line, then one military line? How?
There are two lines. The civil line, which is the Oton line, and the military line, which is the Balogun line.
Okay. And then you talked
So
about
what
now
we,
it's
we,
the throne. The next might be going to the civil line. So are you saying
it's going to no, it's going to Balogun line now.
Okay, Balogun.
The president, the last Lado was on the Otun, the civil line.
Okay.
So the next line now is Balogun line.
So how is that being determined?
No, it's like I said, it's step by step. The two lines, they know. The one that died was on Balogun line. And that's why it now go to the civil line. The Balogun line is the military line. So it goes to the civil line. When the person that occupied the throne of the civil line, when they join the ancestor, then it moves to Balogun line. That is how the rotation has been going. There was a time that some people, the A.M. Yakeloyi, the former chairman of National Party, the fourth National Party of Nigeria, when they tried to join, to make it three lines, the Seriki line, he and Lechibayo Idiji, they joined forces together to make Seriki line. Seriki line was also they were like young talks of the whole days when the Ibadan was occupied by the military people in those days. In those days, but Seriki line should march into Balogun line. That's how it's done. But they now want to join Seriki line. They tried. They even went to court to join Seriki line as the third line. The high chief, the board of them, they rejected them totally, and they lost in court. That's why the two lines are maintained till today, because the A.M. Akinloye wanted to use his position there. He was of Seriki line, so he thought he should become king. So he wanted to use his influence to make it three lines in Ibadan. But they said no, it can't be. It has to be the two lines, and the two lines are maintained till now. So they know. So it's alternate. When civil line becomes king, the next person is to be military line. When the military line becomes king, the next one is to be civil line. That is how it has been done.
Being decided by the chief or being decided by the gods?
No, it's not this. It's not a matter of decision. What I mean is this: they know who will be there, but that does not mean that the next person will be he. It's only God that can make that happen. Because if the next person dies, then automatically the one that is below him will ascend the ladder. So that's why that day, it is only the head, what they call God, that makes you to wear the crown. It's not because you are the next person. You are automatically going to be there because you must be alive to wear the crown. So if anything, before Oba Omunoso, the Ajay, before he died, before he became king, some four people who are above him, they just died. And that's why it was his turn. So the prayer of everybody who is waiting to be king is to have a long life. Because without long life, it is impossible to become anything anyway. Not only king. It's only those people who are alive that can become anything. So the same with Olubadan. If you are alive, automatically you become the next king when it's your turn.
Okay, and now let's talk about the mystery. Yes, I understand. Let's talk about the mystery of Abobaku. I don't know. Maybe it's in Yoruba land or there. Can you please take us down to tradition and the mystery of this Abobaku?
There was Abobaku, yes. There was in
this case now. In this case of Ibadan now, do we have one? We don't have any. In Ibadan, we don't have one, and I think we don't have any more Abobaku in Yoruba land. That would be a crime to kill somebody because somebody has died. I disagree. I disagree, Chief, because we've seen issues where we heard that a king died, and then they'll say they are doing Oro, and the people must not come out because probably they are looking for the Abobaku, or maybe Abobaku ran away. We've heard stories like that.
Let me explain that.
Okay, please.
The Oro court.
Okay.
The Oro court that they said when they are doing Oro is not synonymous to Abobaku. In the olden days, everybody knew who Abobaku was. Abobaku will enjoy the throne like a king himself. They knew he can do anything because they knew once the king dies, he's going to die. The meaning of Abobaku is one that dies with the king. So immediately the king dies, Abobaku will die with him. They will kill Abobaku. So they enjoy maximum lives then. Because they knew their prayer was for the king to live long. If the king live long, they will enjoy the life. If the king died within a short time, that means they would like what happened now. If there was Abaku in Ibadan land, let's say when Obalakuleni within 1 year that he mounted the throne, he died. If there was Abaku would have joined him. They have to kill him. But now those things, they will behold, they have we don't practice it again. But the oral court was to make sacrifice for the atonement of the departed soul. It was part of the culture that no one should come out during the oral court, because they made some sacrifices. It could be for the health or for the peace of that town. So if nobody comes out, definitely anybody will not be caught. They have to respect that culture or tradition. They don't come at this time. Even now, like Ololu Masquerade in Ibadan, anytime he comes out, women cannot see it. They mustn't come out. They should not underestimate him. That's part of the tradition, which everybody must respect. It could be 5 days or 7 days. They say, okay, we announce the place that he will pass, so that nobody will fall victim. Even if Olo did not kill that woman, the thugs behind him, they will molest that person. So it's better to keep the tradition. For the oral court, I don't think they are looking for Ababaku. And it will be criminal for anyone to kill anybody for sacrifice in this modern day. Anybody who practice that should be taken to court and dealt with. We should dispense with all these things that are not working, that are subhuman. It's inhuman to kill anybody for anybody. No, we don't want that anywhere in Nigeria. We don't want that in the court movement or wherever in the night. People should not come out between 0 time. Let people respect that and be at their home. Of course, we may be asking questions. Where there is emergency, how do we go about it? Somebody may fall sick in the night, and they have to carry him to the hospital in the night. Where there is oral court in the night, the procedure of oral court. Wouldn't that hinder the treatment of such people? So something has to be done. We have to look into it. Every system that is working against other systems, we have to do something about it. Honestly speaking, I'm not in support of anything. People lose millions of nairas when they close market because of Oro Festival. We have to understand, what is this thing doing for the people, for the community? What is it? How are the community benefiting from it? We are not. Look at New York City, London. We are behind in everything. So some things must change.
Some things must change. Well, because of our time,
they must give way. I will not support anything that will hinder other people's movement. No, it must change. We need to move forward. If it's not benefiting the community, if it is an interest to the community success, if it's killing the people, then we dispense with it. Short culture must be dispensed with. Wherever they are practicing it.
All right, thank you very much. Because of our time, quickly, Chief, because of our time, barely the completion of Seyi Makinde's 2 tenure, we've lost about 3 kings there, right there in Oyo State, and we have the likes of the Obajimo Oyewumi. We also have the like of Saliu Adetunji. We also have this one who died also. So a lot of people are questioning that, well, what's happening? Why is this happening to this Seyi Makinde's government? You are not a governor, but then do we say that there is a significance or there is a spiritual thing to things like this? You are also an historian. Can you tell us a little? You're also the Mogaji of Olubadan.
You mentioned spiritual things. I have only 2 eyes. I don't have 3 eyes. I don't have the 3rd eye. So I would not want to deal with what you describe as spiritual things.
No. I'm just saying that. I'm just saying.
Let them bury their dead.
I'm just saying. Because there been this controversy too online since the passing away of
I understand the controversy, but I don't want to go into it. I've heard of the controversy. I remember as well, I'm a politician as well. There are some certain things I would not like to say at this time. So I'm not in the best position to say whether there is something to hit or not. But people are dying. They so many kids are passed away. Yeah. But maybe it's their time. Maybe it's their time to go. Maybe. But I don't know.
All right. He said maybe you also made mention. He said you are a politician. Are you going for any of the seats in Ibadan?
Yes, I'm contesting for the governor of Oyo State, governorship of Oyo State.
Oh,
in 2027 by the grace of God.
Interesting.
I'm in the race.
In the race, interesting. Okay,
yes.
What different do you want to do in Ibadan then?
The front runner. Of course, we are bringing a lot of things to Ibadan. We are bringing a lot to Oyo State in general, and to some larger extent, even Nigeria. We want to lay a very good foundation that others have not done. We want to make a positive change in Oyo State.
Okay.
Positive change.
All right.
Things that should be done that have not been done.
Okay.
Our experience.
We look forward to the primaries anyway, and all the best to you, Chief Niyi Aborishade, an historian and legal practitioner and also a politician. Thank you very much for this knowledge you passed on to us this morning, talking about the throne of Olubadan, right? Yeah, also the mysteries of things that we do not know. It's been a high opener for me, I'll tell you, and also for everyone who is listening. Maybe you're not even a Yoruba man, or you're also an Ibadan man, and you must have learned one or two that the historian and the chief has passed on to us, the Mogaji of Olubadan. It's also the Mogaji of Olubadan too. Chief, thank you very much for your time. I'm looking out to.
You are welcome.
Maybe you becoming the Olubadan too someday.
Yes, someday.
Maybe when you are 92.
It's possible. 1995. As long as I'm alive, we keep hope alive.
All right, God keep us alive, Chief. Thank you very much, Lagos, for this beautiful edition right here. You know, sometimes we just need to understand our history, tradition, and how it works, and that's why we had to dig deep into the history and the mystery of the Olubadan throne. And it was a beautiful time talking to Chief Niyi Aborishade right there. Lagos, this is how much we can take on the show this morning on Spotlight on Super FM 92.7. Join us again tomorrow, 7:30 down to 9 a.m. Michael Inyang is my name. Have a beautiful day.
We don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk. Switch to the good side of life here on 92.7 Super FM.